From an inmate suing himself for violating his own civil rights, to a 16-year-old high school student that sued his school because his teacher woke him up in class, we take a look at 12 of the most ridiculous lawsuits ever. Number 12. The man who sued himself. Robert Lee Brock was an inmate in a Virginia correctional facility in 1995. One day, he decided to sue himself for violating his own civil rights. He woke up one morning and sued himself for $5 million, claiming that he committed a crime while he was drunk and that his religion forbids alcohol. And to top it all off, he insisted that the state should pay, since he was a property of the state. In the end, the case was dismissed and he failed to get his transfer. Number 11. Prisoner sued God. So many people have felt let down by God at one point or another, suffering from one of life's many tribulations. And one might even add Jesus, who is God's very own son, to the list. But a certain man stood out from the crowd when he chose to take God to court. Pavel M., a Romanian prisoner, had been serving 20 years in prison for murder when he sued God for failing to keep him from the influence of the devil. Apparently, the case was dismissed. Number 10. Criminal sued house owners. A man named Terrence Dickinson broke into a house and tried to leave through its garage. Since the garage door was malfunctioning, he decided to use the house door. For some reason, he got locked up inside the garage and had to stay there for 8 days, since the house owners were on vacation at the time. He filed a $500,000 case against the house owners, claiming that he had suffered from severe depression and mental damage for what happened. Number 9. The man who sued a beer company. Richard Overton filed a lawsuit against Anheuser-Busch in 1991 because, despite consuming more and more of their beer in order to lure the attractive women in their ads, the lager failed to make his fantasies of having beautiful women fall all over him in reality. Overton sued Anheuser-Busch for $10,000, claiming to have suffered emotional distress, mental injury, and financial loss. Needless to say, the case was dismissed. Number 8. Student who sued her school. In 2009, Trina Thompson of New York filed a $72,000 case against her college after she was unable to find a decent job months after completing her bachelor's degree in information technology. She sought to recoup the $70,000 she had spent in her tuition from her school. Number 7. The family who sued SeaWorld. In 1999, a man named Daniel Dukes got killed by a whale at SeaWorld. To achieve his lifelong dream of swimming with a whale, he hid himself from the security guards of SeaWorld so he could stay at the park after closing. After his death, his parents sued SeaWorld on account of failure to display public warnings that the whale could actually kill people, despite the fact that they're called killer whales. Number 6. Family who sued the video game makers. In 2001, Linda Sanders and other family members of the victims in the Columbine High School massacre sued 25 makers of video games, claiming that if it were not for their creations, the massacre would not have occurred. In the end, the plaintiffs were ordered to compensate the video game makers for their legal fees. Number 5. Rapist who sued the hospital. Edward Brewer sued Providence Hospital for $2 million. He claimed that the hospital was negligent because it had not prevented him from raping one of its patients. The judge ruled that any damage Brewer suffered due to his crime was his responsibility for choosing to commit the crime, and the hospital had no legal duty to protect him from that choice. Number 4. Sleeping student sues school. In 2008, sleepy 16-year-old Connecticut high school student Vinicius Rabocher dozed off during class and was awoken when his math teacher, Melissa Nadeau, smacked her palm down on his desk. The student's parents decided to sue Danbury High School, the Connecticut Board of Education, and the city of Danbury on its behalf, claiming that Vinicius suffered severe injuries to his left eardrum. The case was, of course, dismissed, and Vinicius has been mocked by his fellow students ever since. Number 3. The man that sued magicians. Christopher Roller sued David Blaine and David Copperfield for defying the laws of physics and even demanded them to reveal their magic tricks to him. He also believed that the two magicians were using godly powers, and because he believed he was God, it was his powers that the magicians were stealing. Number 2. TV viewer sues NBC. Weak stomachs and gross-out TV don't mix. In 2005, Austin Aitken sued NBC for $2.5 million. He claimed that an episode of Fear Factor caused him suffering, injury, and great pain. He said that watching contestants eat rats on television made him dizzy and lightheaded, causing him to vomit and run into a doorway. The judge said the case was frivolous and threw it out. Number 1. The woman who sued Universal Studios. It was the year 2000 when Clenthy Peters sued Universal Studios for $15,000. She claimed to have suffered extreme fear, mental anguish, and emotional distress due to visiting Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights haunted house, which she said was far too scary. Which one of these did you think was the most ridiculous? Let us know, and subscribe for more videos like this every day.